Happy Monday and welcome back to another exciting week of the Rocketeer Minute, where each and every day, Monday through Friday, we go over 1 minute of the greatest adventure movie Walt Disney's ever made, the 1991 Joe Johnston-directed feature, The Rocketeer. I'm one of your hosts, Jim O'Kane of TVDads.com.
And I'm Hal Bryan, an airplane nerd from the Experimental Aircraft Association here in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And Jim, it seems... Wait a minute.
Ooh, yeah.
What's that?
You're listening to a special Billy Campbell episode on the Rocketeer Minute. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Campbell.
Not again.
It is a beautiful theme, I think.
As usual, I'm happy to be back, boys, and slash mortified by the introduction.
Oh, it's always great having you on, Billy. Billy Campbell, the Rocketeer himself, once again joins us, and we're going to talk about, really with this minute, we're talking about the very last minute of 1635 Palm Terrace. It was a lovely house, and
now it's a gazebo.
Yes, and a lovely one it is too. So, poor old Cliff and Peavy are well. Actually, you start off a little bit with your feet off the ground.
I do actually. Lothar, I'm dangling in midair, and Lothar has just stuffed my head into the ceiling, and then pulled me back out. And at that very moment, the Klieg lights come on, and
it's the feds.
It's the feds. Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I have this big TV in the apartment that they have for me here, this enormous LG beautiful TV, and a single Blu-ray disc, which is Dracula. But I'm thinking I'm going to go tomorrow and pick up the Blu-ray if I can find it of Rocketeer.
Ah, yeah.
I love this movie so much, and the more we talk about it, the more I love it.
Is it strange having to go and just buy something that you're in like that? Does that feel weird if you're just going to sort of walk into Best Buy or whatever you've got nearby?
No, I don't think it's not. The only weird part is if somebody recognized me, and I don't know, maybe I would feel a little self-involved or something. But
yes.
I guess if you were buying all of them in the store and then coming out with sort of armload of,
and you ask them for a couple of Sharpies, and then you're to me from me.
I had a funny moment, a funny Rocketeer moment years ago in Los Angeles, in Santa Monica. There was a video store called Vidiots, which was just a great place, absolutely great place. They had all kinds of videos. But I was in the store and I was perusing the shelves, and the shelves were very low. They're about eye level for me, and I heard a kid on the other aisle, opposite way, saying, "How about this one, Dad? What's this one like?" And I mean, I'm standing right there, and I just sort of casually glanced over, and sure enough, the kid was holding the Rocketeer. Oh. And I said, "Excuse me," and they both looked at me, the dad and the kid, and I was like, "I highly recommend that film." And the dad was like, "Okay, well, thanks, we'll take it." and I had such a gas going home and thinking about them when they got home, watching the movie, and realizing.
Wouldn't that be amazing if that kid is listening today, and if he was able to piece this together? Wait a minute.
That would be funny.
That would be. I'd like to think that's happening right now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with it.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's so good. Even the guy that was in it likes the movies.
I certainly don't like everything I've been in. I certainly don't like everything.
If they had, so when you see the Star Trek season 2 thing comes by, it's like, no thanks, and pass on it. But it's some people like it.
You know what? I love having been in Star Trek. I'm just mortified by my performance. I really am.
Wow. Well, here you are. Well, you can beat your head against the wall or against the ceiling as Lothar's doing to you here. But now I was wondering, did Ron have to? Was he actually picking you up? Were you on a box or anything, or how?
No,
how did that
I think at that point I was standing on a box. Even Tiny Ron would I weigh in at that point. I weighed in at about 220.
Wow.
And so I think he would have got a little tired after a while.
Yeah.
But I think I was on a box for a while.
Was it one take? Was it one take for the through the ceiling? Did you get it all in one
I
take?
don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that was. I'm fairly certain that was one take.
Yeah,
I don't remember them resetting the ceiling.
I was just picturing that you'd take one step forward, Tiny Ron would take one step backwards, and you just do another part of the ceiling out of camera. Yeah, it's a great scene.
And then when you're thrown into the table there, as I sort of scrub through it, even frame by frame, it's tough to tell if that's you or a stuntman.
As I recall, that was a stunt fellow.
Yeah, I'm looking at
there's one or two frames
second
there where,
4. He's a little bit more square jawed than you.
Yeah.
Looks more like your cousin Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, Bruce came to work and
no.
He was just doing my stunts for a day.
Yeah, he was the one in SWAT, right? Wasn't or
the Rookies, I think is
the Rookies. That's what it was. Yeah,
it was the other Bill Campbell.
Yes.
It's all right there on the internet.
Yeah.
You can find out for yourself.
You can trust IMDb. It's a great scene with. I love Lothar pulling out those twin pistols and just banging away at the door.
Yeah.
He's got the two. Those are Colt 1911s, the 45s, just blasting away. Sort of a early 30s big Caucasian Chow Yun Fat.
The stuntman's getting yanked over the back of the wall there, but a great little scene. And then Fitch and Wooly get to run down to where all the cars are, and everybody opens up with what must have been the entire machine gun arsenal of Disney.
No kidding. Yeah, there's Tommy guns. There's the M1928s and shooting the 45 caliber. So same round as what Lothar has in his sidearm. But if you really wanted to pay attention, and I've never gone this deep, but those big round drum magazines hold 100 rounds. And those rifles fire at full auto between 600 and 700 rounds per minute. So basically, after 10 seconds, you're dry. And the way they're just hosing down the place, they're going to be out in no time. But it sure looks and sounds cool.
We're going to have a firearms expert on in about 40 episodes, and he's going to talk about how trying to get one of the hardest things with teaching people about firearms is getting them not to squint while they're firing. And I'm just looking at James Handy here, just trying not to, but he's having a hard time.
Well, and especially at night when you've got that muzzle flash and everything else, just learning to shoot at night to keep your eyes open. That was a big challenge for me.
One of the hardest things for me about not shooting but doing driving scenes is to remember not to make engine noises. I actually have a couple of times done that.
Whoops.
So director's like, do you realize you're going vroom vroom? I'm like, oh, sorry, because when you're in a it's not often they let you do your own driving stunts, so you're usually in some sort of practical cheat, like a car on a trailer or some kind of rig that is meant to go sideways and make it look like you're fishtailing or something. And so, it's really, to actually do it, is not very exciting. And so the tendency is to try to make it more exciting. And then you're just kind of an idiot because you're making engine noises. But,
wow. Well, now all this work that you're doing with Tiny Ron, what was it like rehearsing these kind of things? I mean, did you just basically figure out the fight scenes in a trailer somewhere? Where were you practicing?
No,
did you get?
I think we pretty much did that on set. I don't think I don't recall ever rehearsing a fight scene anywhere except on the set, and that's kind of one of the perks of doing a big budget film is that they you have the time to get on the set and to dope things out before you start wailing away at each other. It's a little less forgiving in television, where every moment that you spend on a set you really need to be shooting, and so you tend to get together on an off day or before production starts to work things out. And of course, if you've got a film with big sequences, big fight involved, complicated fight sequences, then of course you get together beforehand Yeah, I had a couple of fights. Well, the one fight with Jennifer in Enough. Of course, we met beforehand to work that out. But there aren't really in the Rocketeer that many super long, super involved fight scenes, and so we basically, I'm pretty sure we just worked everything out on set.
He seems very knowledgeable about getting through. I mean, Tiny Ron has had a lot of great roles as the heavy, as the bad guy, and things like that. And he seemed to be well aware of how to do this kind of stunt work. Was he easy to work with?
He was the sweetest guy. I'm saying was. I hope he's still kicking around.
He's still around.
But he was just a sweetheart, an absolute sweetheart. He could, pretty much reach out and crush your spine, if he got angry. But no, he was about as far away as from getting angry as anyone I can imagine. He was just a sweetheart.
He looks like he had a lot of fun with this. I mean, just watching these scenes, it looks like a kind of role that anybody would want. I mean,
I think he had a great time. As I recall, he had a great time. He was thrilled to be there, and I can only imagine. I don't recall ever asking him, but I can only imagine he was even thrilled to have the prosthesis and not have his face actually seen. Though his face was actually seen in one small part, and in the cornfield when the Rocketeer goes flying through.
That's right. Yeah. The big gopher.
Big gopher.
Right.
Yeah. So.
He did a great job in this.
Yeah, he really did.
I can imagine waiting on the prosthetics to be put in must have been the longest part of his job, is just sitting there and getting all those facial things. He's on the Rocketeer souvenir magazine. There's some pictures of Tiny Ron. I think I can put them up because we're talking about a review of the movie. So,
yeah.
But there's pictures of just how much of his face isn't there, and just trying to put all the latex on and then paint it up so that it matches his skin tones. It must have been quite a hellacious thing to go through, but it works in this movie. I mean, it looks a lot like Rondo Hatton in the whole thing.
It really does.
And I was curious, obviously when they do prosthetics and makeup like that, you're doing it so that it looks one way, and then once we see it on film and it's lit and everything appropriate, it looks right. Does it look drastically different in person? Are you looking at it and saying, well, it looks weird right now, but I know on film it's going to look good?
I don't remember it looking drastically different in person, but it does. Most of the time, those things do look different in person because there is such care in the quality of lighting when you get in front of the camera and ready to shoot. So in the harsh glare of fluorescent that you happen to be sitting in front of in a makeup trailer or sunlight outside, those things can look not quite as convincing.
Sure.
But once you get in the set, and especially once you see it on film, I mean, you don't even really see the magic of film lighting except through the lens.
I was wondering when you were shooting this, it looks like there were a lot of squibs going off in the room and stuff as they're shooting, but I don't know how much of that was actually live stuff and how much was special effects that they were just adding in later, or if it was just the sound. We were hearing sounds of things and we were just assuming that the bullet noises.
Well, the bullet noises do everything. I mean, the bullet noises are everything. You could virtually have had that scene with no bullets going off, no squibs anywhere, and still had the noise, and it would be somewhat convincing. The sound design is really, people don't realize how crucial it is and how many-fold it magnifies the sort of the suspension of disbelief.
I think that's most apparent when we're seeing things like the Cirrus X3 starting up and things. It doesn't sound like it doesn't have that throaty voice when it's turning on. Yeah,
I love the little sound design when when we first turn the rocket on and it's in the hangar and it bounces around, then it comes to a stop in a little room, and I reach out with a broomstick to turn it off, and just as I tap the switch and it turns off, you hear a little whizz.
Yes.
And it just sells the whole thing. It's a wonderful piece of sound design.
Yeah, you'd swear it was a supersonic turbine just coming, winding down.
Yeah.
It's astonishing.
But none of those squibs, none of those special effects in the gazebo are anything other than practical. In fact, there are very few shots in the movie that are not practical effects.
Wow, yeah, it's watching Lothar take out that door, which was kind of sad. It was a nice, very well, the beveling and stuff on the door was really nice. Having rebuilt a couple of houses, I really feel, oh, look at all that woodwork going away. But a beautiful thing. And so at this point in the movie, the stakes are that Peavy and Cliff have the actual X3, but now Lothar has the plans that Peavy drew up, and we watch both Cliff and Peavy heading out the door. Cliff has the X3, and Peavy thoughtfully remembers to bring I think he has your jacket too. He's running it. He's running it with something, and then also the helmet. But,
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Cliff is wearing the jacket.
Oh,
so
I'm sorry,
Peavy's
you're right.
bringing maybe that's the duffel bag.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's got to be it. That's
probably what it is.
That's
it's the
what
duffel.
it is.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I always wonder in this scene, and by always I mean, recently since I've been watching this movie through this lens, is there anything? Is there a story? And I don't expect you to know this, Billy, but as you guys are running away down the sidewalk, you're in the lead. Alan Arkin's following behind you, and then this guy just sort of steps out of his house. He's holding a book or something in his hand and just sort of looks to see what the commotion is, and then doesn't seem to be too alarmed by all of this that's going on. He just sort of looks.
Well, of course not. Of course not. He's an extra.
Yeah.
That's true. He's getting.
He knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, he read the script. Fair enough.
It's just another night in Hollywood. That's what.
Right. Exactly.
But
I don't think these kinds of shooting. I was just going to say I don't think these kinds of shootings were that common in L.A. for another probably 60 years after this movie was made.
That's true.
Excuse me. After the movie was set.
Right.
Attention
exactly.
to detail, Hal.
But this particular moment when we escape from the back of the house is really one of my favorite musical cues and cuts of all time. Yeah. It's just somehow, I remember seeing it for the first time in the theater, and just the hair standing up on the back of my neck, thinking or feeling, wow, I'm in an actual movie. Not like
a movie.
Porky's or what the heck ever.
It's so well timed with as we cut from the gazebo to you outside, you're running through the trees, and
you hear that snap of the rim shot on the snare, and just going right into the clarinet coming.
Right, the clarinet's coming in, and
the clarinet's coming in, and soon in the next minute, the incomparable Melora Hardin.
Who, by the way, I think we can break it now
that tomorrow
we'll be having the one, the only Melora Hardin on our show.
Kidding.
Yes.
Oh.
So she'll be coming up to chat a little bit more about what it's like singing inside of a clam.
Exactly.
Just
which I maintain is an oyster because there's a pearl in it, but Jim and I can't agree on everything.
I'm still thinking it's a scallop, and she's just standing on the abductor muscle of the scallop. But
it's coming up next on the Mollusk Minute.
You're two of the biggest nerds I think I ever met.
And you put yourself as number 3 in that category, sir. I saw that on Twitter, and so I know it's true.
Wow, this is a fun minute, and like you said, I just love the way the music. It's the the film school term comes up, non-diegetic music comes over from that scene into the diegetic music of
what
the South
heck
Seas Club.
Does that mean?
It's like whether the music was coming from in the scene or it's like a soundtrack.
It's bringing us into the next scene.
So, but we're going to get into that great South Seas set, which is just another fantastic bit.
And just I think this is basically what you just said, Jim, but that that contrast of the music is Cliff and Peavy are making their escape. I mean, this is conventional wisdom says, to a layperson, well, this is when the music swells and it's at its most tense, and instead suddenly, we're going into this
Cole
this
Porter,
wonderful jaunty Cole Porter. And you'll hear me say this again, but boy, my favorite version of this song of all time, I rate this one higher even than Ella Fitzgerald's, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But boy, I just dearly, dearly love it.
Wow.
It's Begin the Begin, yeah?
Yes,
it is Begin the
Begin.
Begin.
Begin the Begin.
Yeah. So,
and then as we've gone from the hail of gunfire right at the end, as we're hearing the clarinet, and then suddenly we're right there. We're staring right at the business end of it. Everything about these two sets, everything about these two scenes is different. This is clean and tidy, and it's a different color temperature. Everybody's dressed nice. The contrast is just amazing.
Yeah, but we're going to have to find out what's going on at the South Seas tomorrow. So we will check back. And Billy, you will be joining us hopefully in a few days to talk some more about where you've run off to. But we'll check back with you probably later on in this week, I think, if people will stay tuned.
I think there's a fair chance of that.
Awesome. Okay. Well, in the meantime, if people would like to talk about spraying the walls with machine guns and things, that's just in the movie sense. You can reach out to us on social media and talk about it. Of course, all the usual places. You can find us on Twitter at Rocketeer Minute. You can find us on the great big website, rocketeerminute.com, or you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Rocketeer Minute, and chat about it with everybody else who has an opinion on these things. Please, if you haven't signed up already, go to iTunes, or you can go to Google Play and just type in Rocketeer Minute, and you can bang out a subscription right away by clicking on subscribe and have this delivered hot and fresh every morning so you don't miss 1 minute of this great movie. If you haven't watched it already on Hulu and you're in the United States, check out Billy's new show. It's a new show for the U.S. It's been around a while, but catch up with the rest of the world and watch Cardinal. Great show. I can personal recommendation, and I think Billy even likes it too. So it's a great show.
It's one of those happy circumstances.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's there's no rocket packs as far as I've seen yet, but there's going to be future seasons, so who knows? He could find something up there in Ontario. We'll see what happens. But please check out Cardinal on Hulu, available at a streaming service near you. So pick us up here tomorrow with Cole Porter and Melora Hardin, who's going to join us shortly tomorrow.
Give her my love, will you?
Will do. But check back here on Tuesday on the Rocketeer Minute. So until next time, over and out.
Over and out. Thanks, boys. Go get him, kid.